The night was merciless. Freezing wind clawed at my skin as I stood on the very edge of the cliff, the world below swallowed in darkness. The river roared like a monster waiting to devour me whole. Snowflakes stuck to my lashes as tears blurred my vision. My heart wasn't just broken, it was shattered beyond recognition. You are not my mate. And that child is not mine. Those words didn't just echo in my head. They carved themselves into me. I pressed my trembling hands against my stomach, a small swell that held the only piece of happiness I had left. A tiny heartbeat, a future, hope. I'll protect you, I whispered to the life inside me, though my own body shook with cold and fear. Just earlier today, I stood before the pack, believing I was loved. Believing I mattered. I had spent weeks dreaming of the moment he might announce our bond to the pack, declare that even an Omega like me was worthy of love, worthy of claiming. Instead, he destroyed me. Alpha Riven, the wolf who kissed me like I was oxygen, stood in front of everyone and ripped the ground from beneath my feet. I reject you. Laughter. Gasps. Whispers. My humiliation was their entertainment. Omegas don't get mates. Omegas don't get love. Omegas get discarded. But the real blow came when he looked at my stomach, at the life I carried, and sneered. You were a mistake. And that thing you carry is not mine. My soul cracked. I ran, partly to escape them, partly so no one would see me break. I didn't stop when branches cut my arms or when the snow soaked my clothes. I only stopped when I reached the cliff, the furthest point from the pack, the most isolated, the one place no one dared to come to. Or so I believed. Crunch. Footsteps behind me. Slow. Controlled. Hunting. My heart froze before my body did. I turned. 4 warriors stepped out of the shadows, blocking the only way back. Their faces were blank, like executioners following orders. And then, from behind them, Alpha Riven appeared. His alpha aura hit the air like poison, cold, cruel, intoxicatingly dangerous. His eyes glowed in the moonlight, not with regret, but with calculation. You already rejected me, I whispered, voice thin from pain. Just let me leave. I can't, he said calmly, as if discussing business. You're pregnant. If the council finds out I rejected a true mate carrying my heir, I lose everything. His heir, his power, his title. That baby isn't yours, I choked out, not because it was true, but because I was desperate. He smirked. I don't care who fathered it. When you're gone, the problem disappears. Gone. As in dead. The beta beside him twirled a silver dagger, the blade catching moonlight like a flash of lightning. Alpha's orders, he said coldly. No Omega scandal. I backed up instinctively, gripping my stomach. You can't do this, I whispered. Riven nodded at his guards. Throw her over. 4 warriors stepped forward. I panicked. No. I scrambled backward, my heel finding loose stone. The cliff edge cracked beneath me. Time slowed. My heart slammed against my chest. My hands flew out to find balance, but there was nothing to hold on to. Nothing. The last thing I saw was Riven's emotionless face as he watched me fall, as if my death was nothing more than a convenient solution. No. I screamed as the ground vanished below me. The world flipped. Air whipped past my ears. The river roared louder. My body plunged downward. But even as death dragged me closer, I wrapped both arms around my stomach. Please, I begged the moon, the wind, the goddess, anyone. Please protect my baby. The river slammed into me like ice knives. Cold stole the air from my lungs. My vision blurred. My body grew heavy. I tried to swim. The current pulled me deeper. Water filled my mouth. My limbs weakened. My wolf whimpered inside me, fading with rejection and pain. Maybe this was it. Maybe some lives weren't meant to fight. Darkness crept in, swallowing every sound. Then, something cut through the water. Strong arms wrapped around me. A surge of heat replaced the cold. A deep, powerful voice growled near my ear, full of authority, fury, and something dangerously close to possession. No one kills what's mine. My heavy eyelids fluttered. Through the blur of water and moonlight, I saw a silhouette holding me above the surface. A tall man draped in a black cloak, power radiating from him like an aura of fire against the cold. I felt him lift me effortlessly, pulling me into his arms. A mark on his armor reflected silver, a royal crest. The symbol known across every pack. Not just an alpha. The Alpha King. His silver eyes held fury, and something else I couldn't name. He brushed a wet strand of hair from my face, his touch surprisingly gentle. Who dared throw my destined queen to her death? Queen? My throat tightened. You don't even know me, I whispered weakly. His gaze deepened, unreadable. I don't need to know you, he murmured, voice lethal and protective. The moon brought you to me. My world faded to black, but this time, I wasn't afraid, because for the first time in my life, someone wasn't letting go. Warmth. Real warmth. The first thing I felt was heat against my skin, not the burning pain of freezing water, but steady heat that wrapped around me like a protective cocoon. A crackling sound reached my ears, soft and rhythmic. A fire. My eyelids fluttered open. I wasn't dead. Instead of icy water and darkness, I was lying on a huge bed covered in thick fur blankets. Soft light leaked from wall-mounted torches, flickering against polished stone walls. The ceiling arched high above me like a cathedral, carved with crescent moon symbols. This wasn't a house, not even a pack house. This was a royal fortress. I told you she would wake soon. That voice. Deep, controlled, dangerously calm. I turned my head and saw him, the man who pulled me from death. The Alpha King. He stood near the massive fireplace with his back toward me, broad shoulders tense, arms folded behind him. His black cloak flowed like shadows around him, and moonlight from tall windows traced the rigid line of his jaw. He radiated authority, not the false superiority of alphas who needed to prove themselves, but the effortless power of a king who owned every breath of air in the room. My voice cracked. Where am I? He turned. Everything in me stilled. Silver eyes met mine, eyes sharp enough to slice through lies and soft enough to make my heart ache. Something unreadable flickered there, something I didn't understand. You're in the Northern Royal Territory, he said slowly, walking closer. My territory. He stopped at the side of the bed, lowering his voice. You're safe. Safe. The word hit me harder than the cold river had. Safe. I wanted to believe him, but fear had carved itself into my bones. Why did you save me? I whispered, fingers clutching the blanket. He studied me for a long moment, expression unreadable. You fell, he said. I was pushed. My voice trembled, but I forced the truth out anyway. They tried to kill me. His jaw tightened. Your mate? He asked, though his tone made it sound like a threat rather than a question. I swallowed. He rejected me, then ordered his warriors to throw me over the cliff. For a moment, the room filled with silence so heavy it choked the air. Then, glass shattered. He had crushed the crystal goblet in his hand. Blood dripped down his palm, but he didn't flinch. He didn't even look at it. Alphas kill rogues, enemies, threats. He leaned closer, voice low and lethal. Not their own mate. Something in his eyes shifted, fury, yes, but underneath it, a dangerous protectiveness. He reached for my wrist. I flinched instinctively, but his touch was gentle as he lifted my arm, studying the marks where Riven's warriors had grabbed me. His hand was warm, steady, grounding. No one touches what belongs to me, he said, voice dropping into a growl. I shook my head. I don't belong to anyone. His gaze lowered, to my belly. A small, involuntary sound left me, fear, instinct. I curled forward slightly, protective. His eyes softened. For the first time, there was no command in them. Only a question. There is a child. Not an accusation. Not disgust. Just recognition. My baby is all I have, I whispered. He would rather kill us both than accept us. He stared at me, at the truth, the pain, the desperation. I see, he murmured. And you would die for your child. I would, I said without hesitation. Every time. Silence. He looked at me like he was seeing something he hadn't seen in years, strength. Then, without warning, he knelt beside the bed. The Alpha King, a ruler feared by every pack, kneeled beside me. His voice was barely above a whisper, yet it shook the air. You won't have to die for your child. His hand rested lightly over mine, over my belly. Because I will kill for both of you. My breath caught. He stood abruptly and walked toward the door. Before he stepped out, he turned once more. I need your name. I hesitated. Arya. His lips shaped my name like an oath. Rest, Arya. I will deal with the one who tried to take your life. He left, the heavy door closing behind him with a deep, final thud. I sat there, heart pounding, trying to understand what just happened. But then, footsteps thundered down the hall. The scent of fear reached my nose. A guard burst into the room, breathless. "Your Majesty, scouts tracked soldiers near the borders. They're asking about an Omega, pregnant." My blood turned to ice. Riven's warriors. They were here. Outside the window, the king's voice thundered through the corridor like rolling lightning. "Tell them the Omega died in the river." Silence. "And if they decide to step on my land," his voice dropped to a cold growl, "bury them under it." The guard ran off. The king's final words echoed like a vow binding the moon itself. "No one will take her again." For the first time in my life, someone was willing to fight for me. The crackle of the fireplace was the only sound in the room. I sat on the edge of the grand four-poster bed, my palms placed protectively over my belly. A glass of warm herbal tea sat untouched on the bedside table. The Alpha King, Aaron Valerius, had left the room hours ago. But his presence still lingered. Everything here felt unreal. The silk sheets, the soft fur blankets, the gentle warmth. I had spent my whole life as an Omega in a cold stone basement, sleeping on unfinished floors. My body didn't know how to exist in comfort. Every part of me kept whispering, "You don't belong here." My wolf stirred weakly within me, still recovering from the rejection. "She saved us," she murmured. "Maybe fate hasn't abandoned us." I wanted to believe that, desperately, but fear was a stubborn thing. My eyes drifted to the heavy door. 2 guards stood outside, silent, motionless. Gold armor, royal crest, wolves stronger than anything my old pack had. I wasn't trapped. I was protected. And that terrified me even more. The door creaked open. Aaron stepped inside, carrying a tray with food. Not just any food, fresh fruit, hot bread, and a bowl of thick broth that smelled like roasted herbs. His voice was gentle, but firm. "Eat." My throat tightened. "You brought it here yourself?" I don't like handing responsibilities, especially your safety, to others. He set the tray in front of me and then stepped back, giving me space. As if I might bolt. As if he cared enough to let me choose. My hands trembled around the spoon. "You don't know me. Why are you doing all this?" He didn't answer right away. He watched me carefully, those silver eyes seeing too much. Finally, he spoke. "The moon goddess doesn't make mistakes." I froze. He sat on the chair opposite me, leaning forward. "When you fell off that cliff, there was something in me." He hesitated, as if the words cost him. "Something ancient. Something I haven't felt in years." I swallowed. "Pity?" "No," he said softly, voice edged with a growl. "Recognition." My heart stuttered. His fingers brushed the back of my hand, barely a touch, but fire spread through me at the contact. "I don't want to scare you," he whispered. "But the moment I caught you, I knew." Knew what? That someone tried to destroy what was mine. I jerked my hand back, breath shaking. "I am not, you are not property." "I know that," he said, tone calm. "But fate gave me a reason to protect you." He paused, voice lowering. "And the child you carry." My chest tightened. I stared at the tea, unable to look at him. "Rowan doesn't want the council to know I'm pregnant. He'll come for me." Aaron's eyes darkened, but not with fear. With promise. "He can try." Hours passed. I couldn't sleep. My thoughts twisted like storms inside my head. Eventually, I slipped away from the room quietly, needing air. The balcony doors were slightly open. Cool wind brushed my skin as I stepped outside, wrapping the velvet robe tighter around me. The moon hung large above the training grounds. From here, the world looked endless. "Are you trying to run again?" Aaron's voice came from behind me. I gasped and spun around. "No, I just needed fresh air," he finished. "You're shaking." I didn't realize I was. My fingers were trembling against the railing. Aaron approached slowly, stopping at arm's length, close enough to shield me from the wind but far enough to give me space. "You're safe here." "No one has ever said that to me." He exhaled, something raw flickering in his gaze. "I'm not like your former mate." His tone sharpened. "He rejected you. He failed you. But he stepped closer, voice dropping to a vow that felt carved from stone. "I protect what fate places in my hands." The wind lifted my hair, brushing it against his chest. My pulse hammered in my ears. For the first time since the rejection, I didn't feel broken. I felt seen. My voice came out small. Why me? He leaned down, lips near my ear, breath warm. Because when I found you at that cliff, I didn't just save your life. His voice was a whisper of destiny. You saved mine. My heart, damaged, bruised, doubtful, began to beat again. By morning, rumors spread through the palace like wildfire. The Alpha King brought an Omega into his private wing. He guarded her room himself. She carries a child. Every whisper felt like a blade. Servants watched me with curiosity. Warriors stared longer than necessary. Some Omegas bowed in respect, others glared with envy. Wherever I walked, I felt like I didn't belong. But the worst part wasn't the strangers. It was her, Lydia, a tall, elegant she-wolf. High-ranking, confident, her scent smelled of jasmine and power. She entered the dining hall as if she owned it. She was beautiful. Aaron was already seated at the long oak table, discussing something with his beta. The room went still when Lydia approached him. Alpha King, she purred, placing a hand on his shoulder. You didn't attend the council meeting. We missed you. He stiffened, not welcoming the touch. We had a situation, Aaron said flatly. Her eyes slid toward me. That's the Omega everyone is gossiping about. She smiled, but it was sharp. How interesting. Heat flushed my cheeks. I looked down, focusing on my plate. I wasn't used to eating in halls lined with chandeliers and gold. I wasn't used to being seen at all. Lydia pulled out a chair beside Aaron and sat, much too close. You shouldn't distract yourself with strays, she said lightly. Your future Luna must be strong. Political. One who offers alliances, not complications. My wolf growled silently. Aaron's voice dropped to glacier calm. Watch your words. She leaned closer to him. Is she even worth defending? My fingers clenched. I pushed back the chair, ready to leave, when Aaron stood, so abruptly the whole table went silent. He walked toward me, ignoring Lydia entirely. His hand settled on my lower back, a protective touch. She is under my protection, he said, voice like thunder. Lydia's eyes widened. You would choose her over your entire council? I don't choose based on rank. He turned to me, eyes softening. I choose based on truth. The room buzzed with shock. Later, while the palace slept, I walked down a balcony corridor, needing space from the stares and whispers. The moon bathed everything in silver. Suddenly, a hand grabbed my wrist from behind the stone pillar. I gasped. Aaron's beta stood there, Marcus. His face was tense, worry. You need to leave, he whispered urgently. My heart raced. What? Why? Lydia is furious. She left the palace after the confrontation, and she sent a private message to Alpha Rowan. My blood froze. No, she wouldn't. Marcus nodded, jaw tight. She told him you're here. And that you're pregnant. Panic clawed at my throat. If Rowan found me, he'd finish what he started on that cliff. Marcus continued, voice low. The palace is surrounded by warriors loyal to the king. But Alpha Rowan, he's reckless. Dangerous. He will come. I staggered back, hand pressed to my belly. The child kicked for the first time. Aaron appeared suddenly at the end of the corridor, tension radiating off him. His eyes locked onto mine, full of storm and fire. What happened? He demanded, voice scraping like steel. Marcus answered solemnly. Rowan knows. Aaron's aura exploded, cold rage rolling off him like thunder. He stepped toward me, cupping my face gently. I won't let him touch you, he vowed. Not a promise. A threat to the world. But fear still shook me. What if he takes the baby away? Aaron pulled me into his arms, holding me against his steady heartbeat. You and your child are not alone anymore. He lowered his forehead to mine, voice deep, raw, protective. I will burn the world before I lose you. And for the first time, I believed him. I felt it before I heard it. A crushing pressure in the air. A chill that sank into my bones. My wolf stiffened inside me, fur rising in warning. He's here. My breathing turned shallow. My hands automatically covered my belly, as if my palms could form a shield. In the balcony corridor, Aaron and Marcus stood rigid, like statues carved from fury. Aaron's voice was low, lethal. How did Rowan find out? Lydia betrayed us, Marcus answered. He's mobilizing warriors. My pulse skittered. The palace torches flickered, once, twice, then blew out entirely. Sudden darkness swallowed the corridor. My heart slammed against my ribs. A cold wind swept down the hallway, whispering through the stones, and every instinct I had screamed, "Run." Aaron reacted first. He pulled me behind him, his arm shifting in front of me like a wall of steel. "Stay behind me," he commanded. But before I could answer, the ground trembled. Then, boom, the palace gates slammed open. Warriors on the lower floors began shouting, metal clashing echoes reverberated through the walls. The alarm bells of the Silvercrest Palace thundered, deep, heavy, urgent. Marcus unsheathed his sword. He came with an army. "No," Aaron growled. "He came to die." The sound of bootsteps echoed, dozens, maybe hundreds. Then a voice boomed from below. "Alpha Aaron. Rowan." My blood turned to ice. Rowan's voice echoed up the marble staircase. Ace, cruel and mocking. "You have something that belongs to me." Aaron's muscles tensed. "She never belonged to you." Rowan's voice sharpened. "She carries my heir." My wolf snarled, enraged. "No, our child." I grabbed Aaron's arm, terror shaking me from the inside out. "He won't stop." Aaron cupped my cheek, forcing me to look at him. His voice softened, but the fury beneath it was volcanic. "I told you, no one takes you, or that child." His fingers brushed my stomach with reverence. "They are safe. You are safe." But I'd lived under Rowan's power long enough to know, safety around him was an illusion. He didn't come to take back a mate. He came to silence a witness. We moved quickly through the palace, Aaron guiding me with one hand on my back, Marcus in front, scanning corners. I couldn't stop shaking. The hallway lights dimmed again. Another explosion echoed somewhere in the distance. Screams of palace staff ricocheted down the marble walls. Marcus cursed. "We're being flanked." Aaron stopped walking, nostrils flaring. He split his men. My throat tightened. Rowan wasn't just thinking like a brutal alpha. He was thinking like a hunter. Aaron pulled me into a side chamber, a small room with stone walls and a high window. He shut the door and pressed his forehead against mine. "You listen to me," he whispered fiercely. "If anything happens, run to the East Tower. The safe room is hidden in the Moon Goddess altar. Marcus will guide you." My heart squeezed painfully. "I don't want to run." He brushed a knuckle down my cheek. "But I want you alive." The moment was shattered by the splintering roar of wood. Crack, boom, the door across the hall exploded inwards. Rowan's warriors stormed the corridor. Aaron shoved me behind him, stepping into the open doorway. He didn't roar or snarl. He simply raised a hand. "Move," Aaron growled. The hallway erupted into violence. Steel clashed with steel. Growls shook the air. Aaron fought like the storm itself, silent, calculated, lethal. I stayed hidden behind the stone archway, hands over my belly. Every thud of my heartbeat pounded in my ears. Then a voice whispered into the darkness, right behind me, "Omega." I spun. Rowan stood in the back of the room. Alone. Smiling. "How did you?" My voice broke. He stepped inside and kicked the door shut behind him. "I told the king I'd come for what's mine." I stumbled backward, and he stalked forward, eyes gleaming. "I gave you everything," he hissed. "A roof. A pack. Food. You gave me crumbs and chains." His jaw twitched. "You were nothing before me." I swallowed the terror rising in my throat. "I was nothing because of you." Rowan lunged. I ran. I sprinted around the table, breath ragged, clutching my stomach, but I wasn't fast enough. Rowan grabbed my wrist and slammed me against the wall. His hand pressed flat against my belly. My scream choked in my throat. "After I deal with the Alpha King," he whispered, lips curling into a cruel smile, "this child disappears." "No," I thrashed, panic ripping through me. "Please, don't make this difficult." His fingers curled around my throat. Tears stung my eyes. My wolf howled, frantic, but I couldn't shift. I was too weak, too drained from the rejection still lingering in my bones. Rowan leaned closer, breath hot against my ear. "You were always a liability." Suddenly, the door blew open. Aaron stormed in, eyes nearly white with rage. "You touch her again," Aaron growled, "and I'll tear your spine out." Rowan shoved me aside and faced him. We weren't in the palace anymore. We were in a battlefield. Aaron stood between me and Rowan, not as a king, but as a mate chosen by destiny. Rowan laughed. "You think she's worth a war?" Aaron's voice was low, lethal, final. "No, she's worth everything." Rowan lunged, shifting mid-air, fur exploding, bones cracking. His wolf form was gigantic, black as shadow, snarling. Aaron shifted too. Silver fur, glowing eyes, a storm incarnate. The two alphas collided. Claws, teeth, fury. I stumbled back as the fight raged, stone walls cracking, debris falling around me. Marcus rushed in and grabbed my arm. We need to move, but I couldn't look away. Aaron bit down on Rowan's shoulder. Rowan slammed Aaron against the wall. My wolf screamed inside me. Aaron, Marcus dragged me toward the back exit. Just as we reached the doorway, Rowan broke free of Aaron, shifting back into human form in a blur of speed, blood dripping down his arm. He sprinted toward us, and before Marcus could react, Rowan grabbed me. His arm locked around my waist. A knife pressed right above my stomach. Marcus froze. Aaron roared, shifting back, chest heaving. Rowan smirked, blade digging closer to my belly. One more step, Aaron, he taunted, and your air dies. My lungs stopped working. Aaron's air? Aaron's eyes widened, not with confusion, but recognition. Rowan snarled, yanking me back. She was pregnant before the rejection ceremony. Check the timing if you want. Aaron's expression shifted, slowly, coldly. He whispered like a vow etched in blood, I already did. The world stopped moving. Aaron continued, voice razor sharp. The baby isn't his. I gasped. Rowan's grip faltered. Marcus went still. Even the air stopped breathing. Aaron's voice lowered to a deadly whisper. That baby is mine. The baby isn't his, the baby is mine. Rowan's grip tightened on me, the blade digging into my skin, too close to my belly. My breath hitched in painful panic. No, IWH. I spurred, trying to pull away, but Rowan held me like an anchor of rage and denial. Aaron stepped forward. Rowan pressed the knife harder, voice cracking into a roar. Stay back. The sharp sting pierced my skin, and I froze. The slightest movement, and he'd cut deeper. Aaron lifted both hands slowly, palms open, voice steady despite the storm in his eyes. All right, I'm here. I'm not moving. He wasn't calm. He was lethal. Rowan scoffed, voice trembling. You're bluffing. You just want her. Aaron didn't blink. I don't want her because of the pregnancy. His voice lowered, dark and raw. I want her because fate bound her to me. Rowan laughed, but it was hollow. You don't even know her. Aaron didn't hesitate. I know the way her voice trembles when she's scared. I know she hides strength behind silence. His jaw tightened. I know she'd sacrifice herself for that child. My heart stuttered. No alpha had ever spoken like that, not about me. Rowan's hand shook. He tightened his grip around my waist, breathing harsh and ragged. You think I care about your poetic confessions? Rowan hissed. Then he leaned close to my ear, voice dripping with poison. I should have ended this pregnancy the moment I suspected it. I gasped, horror flooding through me. Aaron snapped. A brutal snarl ripped from his throat, the sound of a wolf on the edge of murder. You lay one finger on that child, Aaron said, voice lowering into something that shook the air, and I will skin you alive. Rowan dragged me backward toward the open balcony door. Cold night wind whipped across the room, stinging my skin. He thought he could escape. He thought he could take me. Marcus moved in slowly from the side, like a shadow. Rowan, Marcus said softly, don't do this. Rowan's eyes flicked to the balcony ledge. The drop below was terrifying, far worse than the cliff he'd thrown me from. Let me go, Rowan growled, voice wild, or she falls. My heart hammered painfully. Not again. Not another fall. Not with my baby. I trembled, voice barely a whisper. Why are you doing this? Rowan's face twisted violently as emotions warred behind his eyes. You ruined everything, he rasped. The pack respected me. The council obeyed me. You're the one who rejected me. My voice shook. You threw me off that cliff. He bared his teeth. I had to. If the council learned you were pregnant, they'd force me to acknowledge the child. Aaron cut him off, voice like steel. You were afraid the baby wasn't yours. Rowan flinched, exposed. Of course it's not mine, he roared. I never touched her, she's worthless. My breath caught. There it was. The truth he'd been hiding. He wasn't angry because I betrayed him. He was angry because he never wanted me at all. An's voice turned icy. You rejected her before the ceremony even began. Rowan swallowed hard, knife trembling. When I smelled her that day, I knew. His eyes hardened. She wasn't destined for me. Aaron stepped closer. Only a fraction, but Rowan noticed. Stop moving, Rowan shouted. Aaron ignored him, voice calm. You felt it. The wrongness. The resistance. Fate was pulling her away from you because she already belonged to someone else. Rowan's eyes widened. Aaron delivered the final blow. Her bond with me formed before the mating ceremony. The child conceived that night. My heart stopped. That night? My memory rushed back, flashes. The midnight celebration at the Moon Festival. The masked dance. A stranger with silver eyes. A kiss that tasted like fate. The night I felt complete. That was you? I whispered to Aaron. Aaron's expression softened, finally revealing the truth he held in silence. I knew the moment you fell, it wasn't chance. It was fate reclaiming what Rowan stole. My knees weakened, but Rowan's grip held me upright. Rowan's eyes turned manic. You ruined my pack status. His voice cracked with feral desperation. I was supposed to be king. Not by murdering a pregnant Omega, Aaron snarled. Marcus moved closer, one step at a time. Aaron kept talking, distracting Rowan. You're not losing power because of her, Aaron said. You're losing because the goddess never chose you. Rowan snapped. He yanked me toward the balcony edge, and the next second, I was airborne. Rowan jumped, dragging me with him. I screamed, wind ripping the sound from my throat. We fell. The world blurred into a smear of stars and darkness. But Rowan didn't let go. You're not taking anything from me, he screamed. My stomach clenched painfully around the baby. And then, Aaron leapt after us. Not as a man, as a wolf. His silver form dove through the air like a streak of lightning. Rowan hit a lower balcony platform, losing balance, and the force knocked me free. I slid across the slick stone. My fingers clawed the edge, barely hanging on. Below me was a fatal drop. My grip slipped. My vision blurred with tears and wind. Then, Aaron's wolf jaw clamped around the back of my dress. Not hurting, holding. He dragged me away from the edge and shifted back mid-movement, wrapping his arms around me in one motion. You're safe, he breathed, voice shaking with emotion. I've got you. I sobbed into his chest, clutching him. Marcus tackled Rowan the moment he tried to stand. Rowan thrashed, screaming, veins bulging with rage. You can't take her. You can't take the air. Aaron lowered me gently onto the stone and stood, blocking my view protectively. The baby was never yours, Aaron said. It was always ours. And that was the moment Rowan snapped. Like a feral animal cornered. His gaze locked on my belly. No air, no prophecy. He lunged straight toward me. Blade aimed at my stomach. To kill the baby. Not me, the baby. I screamed, no. Everything went slow motion. Aaron moved faster than anything I'd ever seen. He didn't shift. He didn't hesitate. He slammed into Rowan with full force, pinning him down with a strength born of pure instinct and rage. Rowan growled, trying to stab upward. Aaron grabbed Rowan's wrist and turned the blade, pressing it against Rowan's own throat. Rowan's eyes widened, fear replacing madness. You can't kill me, Rowan gasped. You're too noble. Aaron leaned down, voice quiet and terrifying. I don't need to kill you. He yanked Rowan's arm, snap. Rowan screamed. Aaron dropped the knife over the balcony. Marcus hauled Rowan up, cuffing him with silver binding shackles. Rowan was finished. And Aaron turned back to me. He knelt, gently placing both hands over my stomach, forehead lowering to meet the backs of his hands. Are you hurt? Did he? His voice broke. Did he hurt the baby? No, I whispered, tears streaming. You saved us. He exhaled shakily and rested his forehead against my belly, speaking not to me, but to the tiny life inside. I will protect you, he whispered. To my last breath. Shock. Relief. Love. All at once, I broke. A sob tore through me, and Aaron caught me against his chest, holding me like something precious and irreplaceable. I've got you, he repeated. You're safe. Both of you. My hands gripped the back of his shirt, trembling. For the first time, I felt safe. Not hidden. Not tolerated. Not useful. Safe. The cold wind howled through the broken palace windows as Aaron carried me out of the throne room. His arms were strong, steady, as though he feared I might disappear if he loosened his hold even for a second. My fingers clutched his shirt, trembling. My baby, our baby? I could still feel the faint flutter under my palm. Aaron lowered his forehead to mine. "You're safe now," he whispered. "Both of you." But I didn't feel safe, not yet. Because for the first time, I understood something terrifying. Someone wanted my baby. Not for love, not out of guilt, for power. We were taken to the royal healing chamber. Silver curtains, warm fire, essences of lavender and moonweed filled the air. A pack doctor rushed toward me, bowing deeply. "Your Majesty, you must lie down. Your body is under extreme stress." My voice cracked. "Check the baby first." Aaron stood beside me, refusing to leave even when the healers tried to push him out. "She doesn't leave my sight," he growled, every syllable rumbling with alpha power. I watched the dock press a glow. Wing orb gently to my stomach. The warmth spread through me like liquid sunlight. A soft tremor, then, flutter, flutter, flutter. Healthy heartbeat. The doctor smiled. "Your pup is strong, resilient, just like its mother." My vision blurred as relief crushed me. Tears fell silently down my cheeks. Aaron slipped a thumb under my chin, lifting my face. "Look at me," he whispered. "You protected our child even before we knew the truth. That makes you the strongest Omega I've ever known." And for the first time tonight, I believed him. Black heart, but healing isn't peace, not yet. Later, when the healers left, Aaron sat beside me. The moonlight carved sharp edges across his jaw. "There's something you need to know." I swallowed. What truth did Rowan know? Why the baby? Aaron leaned closer, lowering his voice. "Your baby isn't an ordinary Omega or Alpha heir." My pulse thudded in my ears. "Your child is the heir to the Alpha throne of all 5 kingdoms." My breath hitched. "Impossible. You're not just anything," he interrupted firmly. "You are a rare lineage. A descendant of the Winter Moon clan. A bloodline that vanished centuries ago." My chest tightened. "Rowan knew?" Aaron nodded slowly. "He intended to steal your child and claim the throne." I felt sick. All the hatred, the rejection, the betrayal. It wasn't about me. It was about the power growing inside me. Aaron took my hand. Warm, grounding, safe. "You're not alone anymore," he murmured. "I will protect you. I will protect our child. With my life." My voice broke into a whisper. "You already did." He leaned down, brushing his lips against the back of my hand, gentle, reverent, almost afraid to touch me. His next words were barely a breath. "I didn't claim you out of obligation. I claimed you because somewhere between protecting you and losing my mind over the thought of losing you, I fell in love with you." My heart stopped. I searched his face, expecting mockery or pity, like Rowan once gave me. But Aaron's eyes held only truth. And hope. And love. I reached for him. My heart was shattered, and you picked up every piece. Aaron exhaled shakily, his forehead resting against mine. "Say it again," he whispered. "That you choose me." I cupped his face with both hands, feeling his pulse race under my thumbs. "I choose you, Aaron. Every time." His lips met mine, not a kiss of lust or desperation, a promise. Crescent moon 1 year later. Time skip. Snow drifted softly over the palace balcony. I sat wrapped in Aaron's cloak, rocking a tiny bundle against my chest. Silvery eyes blinked up at me. "Our baby. Our son." Aaron stepped outside, wrapping his arms around both of us from behind. "Long live the future Alpha King," he murmured. Into the baby's hair. I leaned back against him. "No," I whispered with a small smile. "Let him just be a child first." Aaron pressed a kiss to my temple. "As you command, my queen." My queen. Not Omega. Not rejected. Not abandoned. Chosen. Loved. Claimed. And finally, home. She didn't just survive rejection. She became a queen, a mother, and the love of her life became her safe place. The world no longer feels cold. For the first time in a long time, I wake up without fear clawing at my chest. No shadows of rejection, no nightmares of falling off that cliff. Only warmth. Warm arms. Aaron's arms. I feel his breath on the back of my neck as sunlight spills through the curtains. Our son sleeps between us in a nest of soft blankets, one tiny fist curled around Aaron's shirt as if claiming him. Funny how life changes. Once, no one wanted me. Now, I wake up next to a man who would burn the world just to keep me warm. Life in the royal palace mornings are slow. I feed our son while Aaron wraps his arms around me from behind, chin resting on my shoulder. He smells like winter pine and home. Sometimes, the baby falls asleep on Aaron's chest while he reads pack documents aloud, pretending to be stern, but smiling every time our son giggles. "Stop staring," he says whenever he catches me watching. But I don't stop. Not when he kisses our son's forehead with reverence. Not when he kneels on the floor to build wooden wolf toys. Not when he whispers to our baby, "I will always protect you." Both of you. I don't stop staring, because I still can't believe he's mine. The pack loves their future alpha. When we walk through the palace gardens, wolves bow respectfully, not out of fear, but devotion. Once, I hid behind shadows. Now, wolves lower their heads to me. Not because I carry royal blood, but because Aaron announced to the whole kingdom, "She is not my Omega. She is my queen." No one dared challenge him after that. Yet, he still checks on me after every public event. "You okay? Did anyone bother you? Do you need a break?" No one has ever cared about my comfort like that. The little moments matter most. Sometimes I think life is made of small, ordinary miracles. Like when Aaron stays awake at night, rocking our son so I can sleep. Or when he tucks a blanket around me while I read on the balcony. Or when he kisses me while I'm mid-sentence because he can't help himself. Once, I didn't know what being loved felt like. Now, I know too well. He loves me quietly. And fiercely. The wedding, it wasn't grand. I didn't want gold, or 1,000 guests, or a ceremony where everyone stares at me. I just wanted him. We stood in the moon garden, the same place he first told me I wasn't alone, surrounded by flowers. Tea hat glowed silver under moonlight. Aaron took my hands. "No throne," he whispered. "No titles. Today, it's just you and me." He slid a silver band onto my finger, simple, elegant, timeless. "I choose you not as a king," he murmured, voice shaking, "but as a man who can't imagine breathing without you." My words were simple. I finally found my home. He kissed me like vows were carved into our bones. Pack wolves howled from the cliffs, celebrating our union. The moon rose higher, brighter than any night before. And for once, I didn't feel broken. I felt chosen. Aaron, as a father, he sits beside the crib at night, elbows on his knees, watching our son breathe. "You think he'll look like you?" I ask. Aaron smirks, brushing a thumb over the baby's cheek. "He already does. Look at that stubborn jaw. I think he has my eyes." "If he has your heart," Aaron whispers, voice soft, "he'll heal the world." The baby yawns, tiny and perfect. I don't know when it happens, but Aaron's eyes grow wet. "I never thought I'd have a family," he admits quietly. "I never thought I deserved one." I lace my fingers through his. "You do. You always did." Healing takes time. Some nights, when storms shake the palace windows, memories crawl back, the cliff, the fall, Rowan's betrayal. My chest tightens. Aaron notices every time. He pulls me against him, wrapping me in his warmth. "You're here," he whispers. "You're safe." And just like that, the storms stop feeling so loud. Healing doesn't happen in one moment. It happens in hundreds of tiny moments where someone shows you love instead of pain. Our future, we talk about things normal couples talk about. Teaching our son how to ride a wolf pup, having a second baby someday, taking a break from royal duties to live in a cabin by the sea. We laugh about whose temper the baby inherited. Aaron glares. I laugh harder. Sometimes, we sit on the balcony at night, watching stars ripple over the silver lake. Aaron wraps a fur cloak around me, placing soft kisses on my jaw. "You are the best thing that's ever happened to me," he whispers. And every night, I say the same thing back. Because it's true. Not the palace. Not the crown. Not the title. He is the best thing that ever happened to me. And our son? He is the proof that light can bloom even after the darkest winter. Final lines, narration. I used to be the rejected Omega. The broken girl. The one thrown away. Now, I am a queen. A mother. A woman who survived. A woman who is loved. And every time Aaron pulls me into his arms and whispers, "Mine," I whisper back, "Always." The end.